Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another manga review. And today we are going to be taking a look at Fairy Tail Volume 54 from Hiro Mashima, which is the continuation of the final arc, which I think began with Volume 52, and then we got like Mavis and Zeref's backstory in the last volume, and then the first few fights, and it ended on the cliffhanger where we learn that Zeref's army, the Spriggan 12, is attacking from all four directions, from north, south, east, and west, and, Fairy Tail is completely surrounded and at a loss. So, we got a great cover here, and last week I went through the final box set number 6, which has volumes 54 to 63, and dude, like, Mashima's art, in my opinion, has always been great, but since Grand Magic Games to now, and then you see it even more with Eden Zero, his art has really gotten so much better, and you see it with all these volume covers, with the color and everything. Look at this. This is just absolutely beautiful. Of Urza and Natsu. And then you see, like, we've sort of had this subtle foreshadowing that Natsu's going to do something with his arm because he's had it all taped up. And you see it's like, burning. And you got Igneal right there on the arm, which we learn at the end of this volume what that's all about. And it's just terrific, man. Absolutely terrific. So, let's jump right into it. We get some fan service of Lucy and Brandish. And what a great chapter that is, too. Holy crap. Lucy and the cat ears. You gotta love her. So, here's where all the forces are, just to get you all caught up. You have Natsu's group. All the Dragon Slayers went to fight Aegil. And actually, Urza went there, too. She's fighting Aegil. And then you have Natsu's group with Wendy and Gajeel versus two subordinates. And then you have Brandish, who's with Lucy. You have this guy, Wall, who's made his way into Magnolia, and then Makarov and everyone else chilling at the guild hall. And then also you have Biska, who has like her sniper rifle ready to take out some forces as she can. So, and here's where they're being surrounded. You have the main group, the northern, southern, and then the eastern force making their way into Magnolia. But they're protected by Freed with his Jutsu Shiki, his protective barrier. So, Natsu's facing off against this guy. Doing quite well, actually, and everyone's surprised, like, whoa, how could he stand up against him? What's going on? He's one of our strongest warriors. What is the meaning of this? And Happy's all like, what do I do? Carla, you're fighting out of my way, cat. She elbows him out of the way. Oh my goodness. So that's another thing we learned with the new time skip is that Carla can transform into like a human cat girl. And Happy's like, I like you better as a cat. Poor Happy. So, then it cuts back over here to Magnolia. We have Gray and Juvia teaming up. And you have Elfman, Lasana, and Mira Jane. And Mira Jane uses Satan Soul. We saw, like, early on, she turns into, like, this devil form. And then we saw another form of hers. And actually, she transforms into Sayla from the Tardos arc because she absorbed her soul. And they're like, God damn, look at her. Because seriously, look at Sayla. And Gray, Juvia, like, oh no, how'd you do a takeover of her? And, she has these OP powers now, of course. Takes out all the foot soldiers, and then Wall shows up, who's part of the Spriggan 12. And you look at him, I mean, let's go back a minute. He's kind of like this, I wouldn't say he's fat, but he's he's a weird-looking character. He's not like a buff villain or whatever. And we actually learn later that he's a robot. And this isn't his final form. You haven't even seen my final form. So Warren, who has the telepathy magic, is, oh, what do we do? First Master, we're getting our asses kicked here. Which, are they really? They're just getting surrounded. They haven't literally got their asses kicked yet. And Max says, will you just shut up? And he kicks him right in the balls. What are you doing, Max? He's like, even though all hope's not lost, we got to keep fighting. We got to protect our home. So that's just what they do. And Lucy's back at her place in, like, goddamn, a very, very sexy fanservice chapter right here where she finds Brandish because she's like, in the last volume she said she heard something in her bathroom. So she goes in there and Brandish in the tub, blushing, Lucy's blushing. Brandish, get in with me. Get in and scrub my back or else. And she pulls out her associate here, Marin. And it says, if you don't do that, don't forget my powers. Yeah, her powers, she can grow really big. She can shrink people. She can make them grow really big. She can terraform the land like we saw when we first met Brandish on that island. She made the island really small. So you get some, great drawings of the two of them. And they both agree to get in the tub. And it's just like, goddamn. So she sits right in there, and Brandish tells Lucy, you gotta put these cat ears on. You're not cute enough. Meow! Look at her face. Oh, you're so cute. So, I don't know, is Brandish a lesbian? I'm not complaining. So, trying to get to the bottom of what's going on. And Brandish, they still don't know, she still doesn't know Lucy's name. So she says, what's your name? Well, I'm Lucy. And as she's scrubbing Brandish's back, Lucy's thinking, well, this is my chance. I should take her out while she's least expecting it. And she has Aquarius's key, right? And she's ready to stab her. And just as she's about to do it, Brandish says, you're Layla's daughter? And Lucy stops. You know my mother? So you are Layla's daughter. And you see like the look in her eyes, and all of a sudden Lucy's apartment starts to shrink. And she makes her way out. And look what she does to the apartment. And you just look at Brandish. And all of a sudden it's trying to kill her. And Lucy says, well, you got to explain. You know, my mother, what's the meaning of this? It's too much of a pain to explain. And then Kana shows up to the rescue. And Kana's like, whoa, some outfit you got going on, Lucy. What's going on? You're into some intense roleplay, I see. And, you know, she whips out her celestial key. And does a new star dress form. Star dress Aries form. Look at that. So we've seen quite a few of her star dresses now. We've seen, of course, Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, Virgo, Aries, and I think Sagittarius, the bow and arrows, right? So then it cuts back over here to Urza fighting against Aegiel. And she's figured out that wind might be the best tactic to use against sand. Because he uses sand magic. But this guy's still pretty good. He's deflecting all our attacks. And then Natsu is fighting this asshole. And punches him so hard, he goes right to the airship. And Aegiel, Bakel! Or what's his name? Bakai? Or Bakel? I forget their names. I know like the main characters' names, but like the useless jobber characters, it's hard to keep up all the characters' names. And because of that, Urza gets rejuvenated. She says, Natsu, I've received your fighting spirit. And she slashes Aegiel. But to that, he uses his sand magic to recover. And then he finds out that Urza used her re-equipping to make a water blade to cut through the sand. Sort of going against the different elements here. So it's cool to see all the different abilities these characters have learned throughout all these different volumes. To see how they progressed. So what Aegiel does is he whips up a sandstorm to try and stop everyone, blind them all, because he's one with the sand, and no one else can see him. And it's affecting all the other characters in Magnolia. And you get a funny scene of Juvia. Gray-sama, where are you? And she's hugging Lasana. Like, oh, Gray, where are you, Gray? I am the god in this sand world. Look at this guy's face, too. He looks pretty scary, doesn't he? Beating the hell out of Urza now. And she's almost defeated. Until finally she re-equips yet again. And what she does with this armor, you see like it's shining. And in doing so, Biska says, it's a light, that must be Urza. Because in the last volume, Biska used her cannon here, her sniper rifle, the Jupiter cannon, that's what it was called, which is actually the same cannon from the Phantom Lord arc. Nice callback there. But with the light, Biska is able to fire it where she sees the light. It's a signal for her. And it's going right at Aegiel. That's not possible! And Urza is able to re-equip yet again into their Nakagami armor and defeat him. So with that, our heroes see Urza falling from the debris of the destroyed airship. Urza, no! Oh, this is actually a nice cover page. I believe this is on the cover of the 5th box set of our heroes preparing for battle. And Natsu's there to catch Urza, and they both give each other a fist bump. Beautiful ending. So our heroes have defeated Aegiel, and now that the sandstorm has whipped up quite a frenzy here in town, Brandish starts sneezing. Achoo! 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 What's in this town? There's too much weird pollen. Achoo! And then Kana just punches her and knocks her out. Look at that. She left herself wide open. I couldn't help myself. So now Aegiel's down. Brandish is down. So all that's left in the town is Wall. So the Spriggan 12 is going down quite easily so far, and they decided to take her in as a prisoner. But as all the sandstorm stops amongst Gray and Juvia and all of them, we see Wall's cyborgs or robots or whatever they are, and they start attacking everybody. And they're modified for everyone's weaknesses. So Juvia has her water ability, right? So this robot uses steam. Gray uses ice. The other robot uses fire. Elfman's really strong. This guy's really fast. Lasana's really fast. That guy's really strong. And then the worst one of them all, you have the robot with Elfman's head and attacking Mira Jade. Stop it, brother. Stop it, Elfman. So Wall's like, ha, ha. These are my greatest creations yet. You can't defeat them. And he walks into Cardia Cathedral, where Freed is keeping up the Jutsu Shiki, the enchantment around the whole town. And Wall's task is to destroy him so the other forces of the Spriggan 12 can make their way to the town. And we have, not Elfman, Evergreen and Bixlow, along with Freed. Surprised Lox isn't in there, but, we'll learn about that in a minute. And they make their way in here, and same thing, he has robots that can counteract their magic abilities, and they're not doing so well. So, but the thing with the two of them, Evergreen has the glasses and Bixlow has his mask on. They have another type of magic where if they remove them, they can use their eyes to use their magic. Like Evergreen's, for instance, it turns people to stone, and Bixlow, he can control them, but because they're robots, it doesn't work. So this guy starts beating the shit out of them, and then he says, see, I am not a human, I'm a robot. And he transforms as well. They actually call him, he's a Machias. The Machina, the Forbidden Machina is here. And then, just in the nick of time to save our friends, we have Ichiya. He's here. And it seems he is in need of a shock from my thunder perfume. And they're like, oh shit, what's Ichiya doing here? Because they were all expecting Loxus to show up and protect them. But no, we have Ichiya. And look at this chapter cover, dude, of my girl, Lucy, looking as beautiful as ever. My goodness. So Ichiya's here. He's a jobber character, but we love him. And Wall is trying to examine his weaknesses, because that's his ability, where you can examine people's weaknesses and exploit them. And it says he's ugly, he's got smelly feet, then the 5 o'clock shadow. Yeah, he does have a little stubble there. So he has too many weaknesses that he can't decide upon one. And Ichiya's just striking up his pose. Men, tremble at the whiff of my perfume. Gotta love Ichiya. And if you remember, during the 1 year time skip here, when Fairy Tail, the guild was disbanded, the Thunder tribe, the Raging tribe, was taken in by Blue Pegasus because they had nowhere else to go. So Ichiya took them in. So that's why he's here to protect them. Which is a nice little plot twist. So they're just shocking them, and it's not really doing anything because they're robots. So the lightning, thunder magic, or whatever you want to call it, is making the robots stronger. I mean, Ichiya, what are you doing, bro? A big brain move, huh? So as all that's going on, they finally come up with the great idea to, well, we shouldn't attack the robots we're weak to. We should attack the other ones. So that's exactly what they do. They defeat them. And then Natsu and his group reports back to Freed via Warren's telepathy magic and says, we defeated all the Western troops. So they defeat Aegio and all of them. And you get this nice pose, everybody, of Natsu, there's Pantherly and Carla, happy, aye, sir, and Gagio. And Freed says, that's our Natsu. Now I can fight with no regrets. So he takes down his barrier, his Jutsu Shiki, for a minute, so he can use his magic. Dark Écriture, the Shadow! And he just starts attacking him. The power perfume on the max, men! And the two of them team up. Hell yeah, dude, look at that. And then after the fight, we get this, where, because Gray always takes off his shirt. Juvia does the same thing. Look at her. Look at this power couple, man. Look at the two of them. That's some character development, if I do say so myself. And Lasana, where are your clothes? Haven't you learned? So now it looks like things are finally changing, because everyone seemed victorious here. I mean, the 3 Spriggan 12 forces have all been defeated. But what happens, you see the little bit of foreshadowing of Wall's head there. And Ichiya gives you the flashback of how, he took in the Raging tribe when Fairy Tail was disbanded for a while. And then it shows because they rescued Makarov, right, from Zeref, and they used Ichiya's airship, the Christina, and Ichiya was like piloting the airship, and they just ignored him the entire time, like, "Yeah, we're gonna go rescue him," and he's like, "How dare you!" Poor Ichiya. But what happens is, the head starts moving, and it explodes. No, Ichiya, what happened? And Cardiac Cathedral has been destroyed again, which is like the third or fourth time in the series has been destroyed. It's sort of become a meme at this point, where in every single arc, it gets destroyed by the villains, or even sometimes by the heroes. Because remember the fight between Natsu, Gajil, and Mystigan versus Loxus early in the series? They destroyed Cardiac Cathedral then. They've done it quite a few times. So, poor guy. What happens is, as I was talking over that, it turns out that Bixlow, Evergreen, and Freed all protected Ichiya from the debris, and they're all pretty banged up. And you see Ichiya like, "Oh, you really saved me." Oh, what a great moment there. They saved their friend Ichiya. So with that, we see another force making their way into the port town of Haljion. And we see Demaria. And that's actually the real Wall. He was just controlling his robot. Well, this is the real Wall right here. And he's like, "Ha ha ha ha! I'm surprised I didn't kill him. I'm going to try harder next time. It seems I'll have to finally step in." And this is Demaria, who is laughing like, "Oh, Brandish got caught? You're kidding me." So we have 3 new people from the Spriggan 12 making their way here. Demaria, Wall, and there's another one, which I don't think they showed him quite yet. But he's on the ship as well. And I gotta say, look at Demaria. Like, again, Mashima wins every time he draws a female character, if I do say so myself. But Wall is trying to destroy Fairy Tail from this distance. Because, of course, Freed doesn't have his barrier up anymore because he's passed out from the explosion. And he's doing the ultra-long-range anti-material magic cannon. Look at this. And it's going right there. But what happens is the Christina, the airship, makes his way. And it's Ichiya again. Look at this dude. Ichiya's piloting the fucking airship. And he's like, "No, I will protect you." Look at him. Ichiya. But he sends out a distress signal for everyone to come and help Fairy Tail now because they're all being attacked. So we get cameos from all the other guilds making their way here. We got Lamia Scale. We got Sabretooth. We got Mermaid Heel. And then we got Quattro Cerberus. So it's good we see Leon again. We see Sting and Rogue. Kagura. And that's a great thing. So with that, our heroes... Well, Cardiac Cathedral's, I guess it's still standing, but there's a big hole missing there. So it cuts over here to Brandish, who's in the jail cell, and Macau and Wakaba, who are looking on like, "Oh, goddamn, look at her," which you can't really blame them. "Oh, she's our prisoner, huh?" And Lucy punches him upside the head, and even Kana, we can't leave her alone with you men for 1 second. So Brandish says, "Why'd you keep me alive?" And Lucy says, "Well, can you explain to me? Like, how do you know my mother? How do you know Layla?" "I'm not telling you." And this guy, Marin, is free. So he's going to probably go in there and rescue Brandish at some point. So then, Zeref is like, "Oh, this is just excellent." So 3 of his top soldiers have been taken out. But he's like, "Oh, that's fine. It'll be a nice game we play." And it shows everyone making their way in here. We got, again, Sabretooth. We got, and Blue Pegasus. And the other characters over there. So all the reinforcements are making their way here. We have some new factions. Now we have Gajil and Levy teaming up with Elfman and his sisters. And then we got Gray, Juvia, and Loxus with Wendy and Carla. And they're like, "Where's Natsu? He was supposed to be part of our group." And then Urza, she's hobbling here for a cane. "I will go in Natsu's stead. He's perfectly fine." And it turns out that Natsu's gone on his own to encounter a new enemy. And then they reveal that 4 of our most powerful warriors have made their way into the battle. And it's the 4 Emperors of Ishgal, supposedly the 4 strongest wizards in all of Fury. So then we got Jorah, Warid. I forget these 2 guys' names, but we met them a few volumes ago. They're supposedly the strongest of the wizards. So, full speed ahead, Natsu is racing towards Zeref, like the complete madman he is, and everyone's overreacting, maybe for good reason, saying, why is Natsu going to face Zeref by himself? And Urza says, we must put our trust in Natsu, we have to. And Gray, you see a little bit of animosity between the two of them, and he says, you know, you put too much faith in Natsu. And Urza, well, does that mean you don't trust him? You have to trust him, he's your friend. So Natsu makes his way to Zeref and his great army here. Look at all these dudes. Racing through. And he just starts one-shotting them all with like one attack. It's crazy. Great artwork right here, too, of all the action scenes. He does the Fire Dragon Roar. And apparently there was a million soldiers there. And Natsu took out almost 900 of them. And Zeref shows up. He says, I was so eager to say hi, Natsu. But now it's the time to say goodbye, Zeref. And you see, we've seen this foreshadowing for some time now, since the time skip, where Natsu's had his arm all taped up and he starts, taking it off. And Invil says, Zeref, what are you doing here? What are you doing, master? We should take him out. No, leave this fight to me. And you see his arm starts glowing, and Zeref is like, what is this magic power? This heat? What is this? And it's like a dragon insignia. And Zeref's using his magic, but Natsu is deflecting of his fire. And you see Zeref's face. He's getting his ass kicked by Natsu of these attacks. Excellent artwork. And Zeref asks, what is this power? It's a gift from Igneal. It's the last of his power he left within me. It took me more than 10 months, but I'm finally able to use it. And Natsu says, it's all Igneal's power. It's all I have left. Once I use it, it's gone. And then Zeref starts thinking, the power of the dying. It makes sense. It could be enough to destroy an immortal. Because that's been Zeref's goal all along, is he just wants to die. He's been living for over 400 years. And when we first met Zeref on Tenro Island, when he met Natsu, he's like, oh, maybe Natsu can finally kill me, but he wasn't strong enough then. But you see Natsu's powering up, and he's like burning the earth itself. And then right as Natsu's ready to attack, he starts saying, after all this time, who knew my wish be granted now? Thank you, Igneal. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Layla, Mavis, and my most beloved dear brother, Natsu. So, holy fuck, Layla, is he referring to Lucy's mother? Ooh, stay tuned. But yeah, another excellent volume. It's great to be back reviewing Fairy Tail. I mean, I had to sort of stall for a little bit as I was waiting for the final box set to release. But it's finally here, and I can't wait to share more of my thoughts of the series. It's excellent. Some people don't like the ending because there are a lot of characters, but I think it wraps up very nice, and I can't wait to tell you. I've already finished reading the series, so normally I do these reviews. It's sort of like a blind read-through, but I couldn't help myself. I read the whole series all the way to the end, and absolutely love it. Let's go back. Where's this was some good stuff. Look at this panel. Look at that, man. So, yeah, excellent stuff. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and stay tuned next week for some more Fairy Tail reviews. I'd mentioned in my last video about the box set, I want to do like 2 videos a week, but now that I'm back to live streaming, I don't know if that's possible, just because I have other content I like to do on the channel, but I'll try. If I can, I'll do 2 videos a week, but most likely at least 1 video a week. So, thanks, guys. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.